So I've been wanting to watch this movie quite a while. This is Bone Tomahawk from last year, 2015. I'm a pretty big fan of the Western genre, and especially newer made ones. I'm just really interesting and really interested to see how somebody can, do something different with the genre. And they just look really good usually when, a newer, a modern Western is made. So this one has a really good cast. Uh, Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, Matthew Fox, Richard Jenkins, David Arquette's in it for a minute. But the story is pretty straightforward. Kurt Russell is the sheriff of a very small town. One day, a drifter comes through. That's David Arquette's character. They're not really sure, what he's doing around there. Deputy thought he saw something suspicious that the guy was doing, so they take him to the jail. But before that happens, Kurt Russell's sheriff character, he shoots him just to make him comply with him. I guess that's his thing. He shoots people in the leg. But while he's doing that, they take him to the jail, and they have a local um, doctor, or I'm not sure exactly what her medical criteria is, come and tend to the guy's leg. Samantha, played by Lily Simmons, who I didn't recognize before, but I think she was in a show called Banshee. But anyway, so Samantha, she is Arthur's wife, and Arthur's played by Patrick Wilson. He's laid up with a broken leg, and Samantha goes to tend to the guy's leg, and overnight, her and the drifter are kidnapped, and they've disappeared. And they find out that they've been taken by these like cave dwelling. I don't know if they're Native Americans. They call them troglodytes, and it's still kind of mysterious, like who these people are. So they're supposed to be just like extremely savage, crazier and more primitive, and than like other Native Americans. They have like a Native American in the town that says that these people are just really dangerous and stuff. But Kurt Russell, he's the sheriff, so he's feels really responsible to go get her. And then Patrick Wilson, is dead set, even with his broken leg, he's dead set to go get his wife. And then Matthew Fox, character, volunteers to go with them. He seems to be like a really good gunslinger, kind of gun for hire. He says he'll go with them. And then Richard Jenkins is the deputy. His character's really interesting, actually. Richard Jenkins. He has a big beard. Doesn't really look like him. I noticed him from his voice, but throughout I just kept forgetting that it was Richard Jenkins. And he plays kind of, you can't really tell if he's like old and senile, but other times he's like really aware and good at tending to Patrick Wilson's leg and stuff like that. So he's a pretty interesting character, actually. And so like the majority of this film is made up by their journey to get from the town to rescue Samantha and maybe the other guy. And then when they get there, there's some pretty horrific stuff happening with these cannibals and stuff. The movie it's pretty good. It's pretty straightforward, and everything's kind of matter of fact. But that's not a bad thing, I wouldn't say. I thought it was going to be a little more horror when it got to the actual encounters with the cannibals at the end. Because I kind of feel like I'd heard this was kind of a Western meets horror film, and there's like really nasty things that happen when they meet up with this other group, but it doesn't really get into like horror territory just because everything is kind of so straightforward. Everything just kind of, this is how it is, So it doesn't get like the weird, crazy suspensefulness or supernatural elements that you might find like in a horror movie. But yeah, it just kind of plays it straightforward. But yeah, it's really good, especially for, this is like a new writer and director I hadn't seen before. His name's S. Craig Zahler. It'll be interesting to see what he does after this. You can tell it's a pretty small budget film, but it's pretty decent. I'm giving it a 3.25 out of 5. And just a couple other movies that it kind of remind me of. It's kind of like True Grit, or 3:10 to Yuma. These movies, these westerns, have really big sections of the movie are about the journey. They have to get somebody from point A to point B, or they're hunting somebody. and this is that very similar type of tone and structure of the film. So yeah, if you like westerns, I'd definitely check it out. It's worth a watch. Kurt Russell's still rocking his awesome facial hair that he has in The Hateful Eight, so he's pretty badass. He's really good in that genre. He's a good and very believable western participant, usually a sheriff. So yeah, I'd check out Bone Tomahawk if you like westerns. All right.